check out my 2 ebooks available now on Amazon and Kindle. Lots of information on both books. The first one is Bet Smart, Win Big. Lots of information about sports betting, betting on boxing, how I made $70,000 in 3 months. The other one is Drive to Thrive. It's a comprehensive Uber guide for those who's trying to get into Ubering, who wants to know the information about the in and out, basically driving for Uber or Lyft. Lots of information on both books. I'll leave the links in the video description. Welcome to Hypergamy in Motion. We're going to talk about Pearl Harbor today. What if I told you Pearl Harbor isn't just a war film, but a psychological blueprint of hypergamy in motion? She fell in love, lost him in war, and moved on like nothing ever happened. But when the Alpha returned, everything changed. This love triangle between Rafe, Evelyn, and Danny reveals a lot about relationships and modern dating. What is hypergamy? Hypergamy is the biological instinct for a woman to marry up, to choose the highest value male available based on resources, strength, or status. Some might say it's not evil, it's evolutionary. In survivor terms, it makes sense. But in dating, it can leave men confused, betrayed, and emotionally destroyed. So without further ado, let's get started. So here in the first scene, we have Rafe and Danny. Kids grew up together, best friends. Now, I have to tell you, there is a lot of spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. This movie was made in 2001. They grew up together, really good friends. Now to the left, we have Rafe, which is played by Ben Affleck. He's characteristic, he's charismatic, confident, dominant, is a risk taker, basically the classic alpha male. To the right, we have Danny. He's more so of the loyal, sensitive, emotionally available, the beta backup. That's what we're gonna call him. Now you have Evelyn, the female caught in between. But is she a victim or an opportunist? Now that is the question to ask. She claims she loved both, but ask yourself, does she ever choose based on principle or based on status? The Ben Affleck character, which is Rafe, is a risk taker. He goes after what he wants. He met her first. She was working at the hospital. I guess some could say it was love at first sight for Rafe when he saw Evelyn. At first, typical female, she was playing hard to get, flirting a little bit, and eventually she started giving in to his advances. Women does this a lot. Girls night out, usually that's when they spill the bean to all their friends about guys they are dating, guys they are currently messing around with. By the way, the modern term for dating is basically guys they are messing around with. That's just the truth. That's what it is. So if you hear a woman say, currently right now, I'm dating 5 guys, she's messing around with 5 guys. That's what it is. She's telling her friends how she met this guy. Rafe is very charming. They'll never tell you certain things in your face, but they'll tell their friends behind your back. That kind of conversation to them is considered very romantic. At this point, you can see the expression in her friend's face. They already imagining themselves in her position. Women are like sheep. They follow whoever is the leader. Usually there's a leader in the group. They can't think for themselves. That's why they go on social media and look at other people's relationships. Immediately try to incorporate what they see from other people's relationship into their current relationship. That's all her friends. They're all nurses. They work in the same place in the military. Now, Rafe, the movie is portraying him as, I guess what you would say, the alpha male. And yes, to some aspect, no in other areas as well. Because he made several mistakes in his interaction and relationship with Evelyn. You'll see that as we go along. Now, the relationship progresses, going out, having fun, hanging out as a group. One of those mistakes throughout this whole relationship, which was very surprising, never messed around with her. It was just very platonic relationship. A lot of verbal expression of emotions, a lot of making out, but physically, nothing ever took place in the movie. And I thought that was very interesting. The movie did not emphasize the timeline of how long they were together. One can assume based on their interaction for a good minute. He is very playful, the adventure type, like I said before, very charismatic. He's a little bit of a daredevil, you could say. She liked that aspect about him. Hollywood, like I said before, convey messages to the public. It tends to convey certain messages they want to pass along, certain messages they want. People actually watch these movies, and some watch it for entertainment. You have to look deeper past the entertainment of these movies, because there are a lot of subliminal messages that's being displayed in motion. Beautiful girl, definitely got that whole innocent look, the girl next door, wifey material vibe. When she dresses, she keeps it very simple. She doesn't wear too many revealing clothes. So the image that she portrays is that of a good girl, is that of a wife. Now, how many times you hear this story? In this scene, Ben Affleck decided to go to war. You have many military people. You got military men enlisted in the military. They leave their girl at home, going to fight for their country, and thinking that they have someone back home to hold them down. And I feel really bad for them, because what's keeping them, some of them alive, is the fact that they know they have someone they can come back home to. The unfortunate thing about that is what exactly is happening when you gone for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months to a year, sometime even longer. You have no idea what's taking place while you're gone. And it's a current thing. It's a common thing, which happens a lot. Now, if you see Jack TV on YouTube, there's a lot of information. There's actually videos showcasing the disloyalty, the cheating that takes place, all right, behind these guys' back. He's writing Evelyn right now. He's away overseas. He's writing her, sending her letters, letting her know he's thinking about her. She's writing them back. At this point, he consider her basically his rock, the only thing he have. The thought of him coming back to her, this is what's keeping him alive. This is what's giving him hope, because he's in a situation at any given time he could lose his life. Somewhere in the movie, his plane got shot down. He supposedly passed away. This scene right here speaks volume, because his best friend tell Evelyn the news about what happened to Rafi. Now, if you look at his expression right there, you tell me he is staring into her soul right now. I believe in that particular moment, Danny decided he is gonna make Evelyn his girl. He decided at that moment. Now, you might say, damn, that's kind of messed up. But now you might say, well, this is just a movie I'm watching. This is fiction. That could not be further from the truth. Tom Likas, from his talk radio show, where women would call in and talk about certain acts. We're talking crazy things that they done. One particular story which I heard, a woman called in the Tom Likas show. She said her boyfriend died from a car accident. In the boyfriend's funeral, she messed around in the bathroom with her boyfriend's best friend. True story. Now, there are many more stories similar to the one that I just told you if you used to listen to that show. Not far-fetched whatsoever. And this is why I say, what we're seeing right now in this scene, this is not just a movie. This is not just fiction. Things like that takes place. Things like that happens all the time. Danny is using what happened to make his advances. Now, his advances at this current moment is very vague, by the way. Typically, boyfriend or husband died, the wife mourns the person. But what did Evelyn do? She only mourns for only a short while. She emotionally and physically aligns herself with his best friend. This is a textbook case of emotional transference. She doesn't stay loyal. She recalibrates based on proximity and comfort. And that's what you're seeing right now on that screen. Danny, he's at the movies. She's also at the movies. And they meet each other. Now, I have to give you a time frame 3 months after Rafe died. This scene right now you're seeing taking place, this is 3 months after Rafe, aka Danny's best friend, died. Short amount of time. And yet again, another brutal truth of the reality of things. This is what's taking place when you're no longer around. It's just the truth. It's a brutal truth. It's a hard pill to swallow. But when you are no longer around, it could be your best friend. It could be the next guy on social media, the guy that's been in her contact list all this time you guys were together, the guy so-called the quote-unquote the best friend. Now, they always have somebody in the wing waiting. There's always someone in the contact list, somebody in the DMs contacting them. Now we have social media, Instagram. There's always somebody in the wing. It just so happened in this particular case, Danny, this is a classic beta step up. Danny provides security, he's kind, but he was never the first choice. He was the consolation prize once the alpha was off the table. This is what many men face today. You only need a boyfriend because her top options are unavailable. That's another brutal truth. Look at her. This is 3 months in. Does that look like somebody that's mourning to you? Does that look like someone that's grieving? At this point, this is right after the day. He's using the fact that this is a very poor excuse, by the way, but I don't think he cared. He was shameless. At this point, he's just like, you forgot this handkerchief that you left at the restaurant. I just came to return it to you. Okay? You can see the friend's face. She's just like, what the hell? Now, mind you, as you can see, they're in their sleeping pajamas. So he showed up, I believe it was almost like 12 midnight. Think about it. Somebody returning a handkerchief at 12 midnight. He knew what he was doing. She was fully aware as well. And what do you think she did? She stayed entertained. And that's usually the beginning of the end. When you have your girlfriend, your wife, your woman, she constantly entertaining other men. It could be on a platonic level. They are sucker for attention. And I'm not sure who said it. Could have been Black Ram. It could have been Alpha Male Strategies, other YouTubers in the manosphere. But they say attention is greater than love for women. And that is 100% truth. Right now, he is moving in, making his move, providing her the attention that she needs and crave. You could say an excuse. We know women never take accountability for their action. So she already have an excuse for doing what she's doing right now. Now, after he made his move, guess what she did? Here she is right now, showing up at the Air Force Base where he worked, all dressed up, looking like little Red Riding Hood, all doll up. She came to see him, and that's what you're seeing right now. Makeup on, hair done, the typical stuff that they do. Part of the manipulation. She's fully aware he is attracted to her, that he wants her as his woman. She is fully aware of it, and she is very receptive. And you see your women hanging out with male friends. You hear, oh, one thing leads to another. An accident happened. We were drinking. We were smoking. I wasn't fully aware what I was doing. Something took place. Usually it goes to something to that effect. Zero accountability. And that's what's going on right now. Now, 3 months in. All this is happening 3 months in. And that's just the reality. Look at this. 3 months after her so-called love of her life has passed away, she immediately moved in to the best friend, aka the beta step up. To most women, this is very romantic. This is very nice. They get all emotional watching things like this, ready to cry, shedding some tears. The movie kind of emphasizes that. Like, this is supposed to be sexy. The double standards, it's absolutely insane. Danny, he's stoked. He's excited. He got some last night, and he is going full throttle at this point. He is expressing his emotions. He's expressing how he's feeling. She's somewhat, I guess you could say, dismissive to everything he's saying to her. Tell me that doesn't ring any bell for you guys, where you mess around with somebody, you mess around with this woman, and everything went great, and then you hit her up the next day, maybe a few days later, and immediately you notice a change in the demeanor, in some ways, it's a sense of guilt that's taking place in this particular scene. That's what's happening right now. Her conscience is telling her, like, damn, you are messing around with your boyfriend's best friend, childhood friend. This is what's happening right now. But women, they always go based on their emotions, only emotions. And that's what's happening. Her emotions is saying one thing, her brain is saying something different. Chemically, there's a disconnect. Her emotion is telling her, you know what, I really like this guy. And that's one thing about them too. They get attached very quickly. And we're not like that. We can mess around with a woman. We don't get attached. A woman can get messed around one time, automatically attach immediately. Emotionally attached. It's just crazy. Rafi, her ex who died, he is long gone from memory at this point. He is a distant memory. And that's really the unfortunate thing. And that's how it would be for you as well. Distant memory. Back in the day, timeline was a lot longer because I seen the older generation where they were with somebody and something happened to them, the person died or something like that. They probably will take a few years to heal and maybe even try to date. Sometimes the older generation, they don't even try to look for somebody else. They just decide, I'm just gonna stay single. But not this generation. This is Rafi basically in the verge of death after the plane crash. He's only thinking about one thing. He's thinking about Evelyn. He's thinking about how can I make out of this alive so I can get back to her. The alpha returns, loyalty resets. That's what I'm gonna say. Rafi comes back. Evelyn is shocked. Her eyes says it all. She's emotionally torn at this point because Rafi outranks Danny on the male hierarchy. It wasn't about love. It was about status. Hypergamy doesn't care about time served or kindness given. It recalculates based on dominance. I can only imagine to come back home and find out your old lady is messing around with your best friend. Nowadays, honestly, they'll take it as far as even your brother. They don't discriminate anymore. They don't. This is the fallout. The two men are now enemies. How many times do you hear that? Over a woman. This happens every day. Fighting over a woman whose loyalty shifts just like the tides of male value. Men compete, women choose. But what happens when the competition is based on a lie? Ask yourself this. Evelyn's end up pregnant by Danny, by the way. You'll find out later in the movie, but emotionally still tied to Rafi. This is hypergamy in motion. It's a win situation for women. They're playing a game that they cannot lose. They're playing both sides. How can you lose when you are playing both sides of a game? You cannot lose. So Ben Affleck character, in the end, he forgive his best friend. He's a good dude because that level of disloyalty has no place in a friendship. They knew each other way before she got in the picture. He is devastated. He just got the news that she is pregnant by his best friend. He's still trying to rationalize what is going on. She's playing both sides. Here comes the tears. Still playing with his emotions. She needs to have a backup plan. Something if or else fails. And that's what's going on right now. She is playing both sides, telling him that she still loves him. Now, she's doing this right after telling Rafi that she still loves him. This is happening right after. After the fall, something happened with women inside. Everything changed. They are no longer how God intended them to be because nothing they do makes sense. Logically, if you try to process the things that they do, it just doesn't make sense. Danny's plane crash in the middle of enemy territory. They were being held hostage by the enemy, and Danny ended up getting himself killed in action while trying to protect his best friend. Now, I guess this is where the viewers watching this movie, they're gonna be emotional. Some might shed some tears, but this is the ideal situation that just took place for Rafi. That's why I said there's nothing romantic about this movie. If you look at the bigger picture, it's very messed up what's taking place in this movie because it actually can happen in real life, what you're seeing right now. I'm sure it has happened. Now, I told you guys she was playing both sides of the field. She knew both of them will go to war. There's a possibility that only one might make it back. And that's what's going on right now. As you can see, Rafi's back. Now the role has flipped. Ain't that crazy right now what's going on right now? The roles has flipped once again. They so emotionally need somebody all the time that where I don't know if you ever noticed this. I call them serial daters, where certain women just gravitate from men to men and men. They don't give themselves time to heal at all. They'll break up with one person, 2 weeks later, they already with somebody else. That ends, jump to another one. And the red pill, they call it monkey branching. It's like a serial version of that monkey branching. They just move from person to person. So all the emotions was already there. All the emotions, they never left. She was in love with 2 guys and she was playing them both. Made the best man win. Now, this child, as you can see right now, this is towards the end of the movie. That is Danny's kid. She was pregnant by him. He died. So now, what do you think is going on? Ben Affleck, now he's the stepdad. This is most single mother's dream. In the end, she still wins. 2 men fought over her. 1 died, and the survivor becomes the stepfather. That's the hypergamy jackpot in a nutshell for most women. And I'm telling you, like when I used to listen to Tom Likas, you hear those stories all the time. You got Kevin Samuels, the Godfather. He talk about that all the time. It's the ideal situation. You don't want to be this guy right now. You don't want to be him. Yes, he was the first option, but he was quickly replaced by the next guy, which is his best friend. That's a sucker move right there, what he just did. Taking this girl back. At this point, she got a kid by your best friend. There is nothing romantic about this. They got the sunset going on with the plane and everything, and farmhouse, trying to create this romantic, I don't even know. Nothing romantic about that. He is left to take care of another man's child. That's what's going on. I'm going to tell you guys this on a last note. Pearl Harbor isn't a love story. It's a cautionary tale. Men need to understand this. You can be everything and do everything right and still be a second choice. Hypergamy isn't about who's nicest. It's about who ranked the highest. This is Hypergamy in Motion. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe, check out the ebooks, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.